Hey everybody, I am Robinson. I'm over here at Midwood Guitar Studio in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I want to talk about kind of a touchy subject. What you get for more money. Here I have 3 acoustic guitars. They are very different, but they are all made with basically the same materials in the sense that all of the back and sides are East Indian rosewood. The Bourgeois, I'm going to play in a second, has a Sitka top, but this Eastman has an Adirondack top, and so does this Mcpherson. So Eastman is the most affordable. I think that this guitar is around $1,300, and basically it's mostly hand-done work. They don't have the CNC kind of attention to minute detail that some of the other companies will incorporate into their builds. You know, basically better technology is you spend more money as far as executing every single cut and whatnot with precision. So for some people that might actually be a good thing. They want something that's sort of more handmade, that's a little bit more idiosyncratic. In this case, the workshop that they have in Beijing is, from my understanding, very much like a 19th century violin workshop. I mean, it's just a lot of dudes doing stuff with their hands. So, you know, the cosmetic fit and finish might not be as exact, but there's a tremendous break on the price for sure. And when you go and check off the details too, like the bone nut and the scalloped X brace, you know, it's all there. It's got all the same stuff going on for it as the big boys who produce guitars domestically. Yeah, and then the other thing is the wood that they get isn't maybe the choicest, or maybe it just hasn't cured as much. So it's not as high-grade wood, and it hasn't been left to sort of cure and settle into itself and realize that, hey, I'm now an instrument, as much as the wood that they'll use on the higher-end stuff. So the wood's a little bit greener, and it's mostly handmade stuff. But, you know, these are things that, for the price difference, a lot of people can deal with. I myself have high-end guitars and an Eastman, which I consider a high-end guitar. It's very much within the category of excellent craftsmanship, but, you know, on the lowest rung of what I think some people would entertain. I'm gonna give you a little idea of how it sounds. Yeah, I feel like Eastman, in some ways, is really where the world of boutique instruments begins as far as price points. And then you get to Bourgeois, who has been one of the biggest names in the industry for a while. He's one of the real innovators. He'll do something, and then everyone else starts doing it. He's one of the biggest guys in terms of sort of reintroducing people to the wonders of Adirondack red spruce, and he came out with that really smooth Venetian cutaway that everyone does on OMs nowadays. And this is one of his classic dreadnoughts. Or actually, I think he has a classic, and this one is a vintage, so a little bit different. The classic's a little different. This is the vintage dreadnought. Interesting story about his dreadnoughts and the way he voices them. It was actually through some input from Tony Rice that he decided to do the braces a little bit different in terms of which side he scalloped more or less. I think that he ended up scalloping more on the treble side or something, you know, according to Tony's advice, to give it more of a dynamic response, his dreadnoughts, rather than just like the sort of woofing country bluegrass tone. Bluegrass guys at the time were doing a lot more jazz stuff, needed a guitar that could keep up with it. Anyway, let me give you an idea of what you get here with Bourgeois out of Maine, Lewiston. So as far as what I'm hearing goes and what I think this one has on the Eastman, it's got a little bit more dimension. It's got a little bit more bass, a little bit more sort of background activity in the notes. It's not so upfront. And then there's kind of just this ease to each of the notes, especially the way that they decay. They just decay very slowly and naturally. All this wood knows that it's very much a part of a guitar now. There's this kind of natural grace to it. So now I'll play the Mcpherson, which is like a structural reimagining of the D28, the big body guitar with rosewood back and sides and Adirondack top in this case. But they've taken sort of so this is like a classic styled old Martin guitar. This Bourgeois is, as far as its construction, there's some differences. It's got the hybrid bolt neck design instead of the dovetail, but yeah, it's definitely benefited from the advancements of technology and science, and this guitar is like taking that to the next level. This neck is cantilevered, so the top can just evenly vibrate, and the sound hole is offset. Again, it improves the structural integrity of the top, and there's a carbon fiber reinforced truss rod. So basically, this is not only a great sounding guitar, this is a guitar that is built like a tank. It allows for vibration in a different way, whereas other guitars traditionally have just been built, light. It's this game of making it light enough so that it makes a great sound, but not so light that it implodes, In this case, they're like, well, we're just going to build it really heavy and sturdy so that it doesn't move and doesn't suffer from the same kind of fluctuations in climate and temperature as other guitars, but we're going to do all these other things to make sure it still vibrates really easily, and sounds like this. There's a lot of information going on in this guitar. There's a lot of complexity. There's a lot of sort of density in the way that the overtones cluster together. Different flavors too, different price points, different interpretations of iconic designs. This is what we live and breathe. It's fun to explore and find what works for you, and you might be surprised. So price is a factor, depending on who you are, but I'm confident that we can find you the right instrument that hopefully won't have you sleeping out in the garage or anything like that. So thanks for watching. I hope this clarified some things, and we'll be upfront with you as far as what you get, because we're guitarists too, and that's the courtesy we'd expect. Thank you.